It seems we have brand new times on the market. The money is cheap, the market gets flooded with money, and we having growth stocks like Beyond Meat or Virgin Galactic that is just showing us that innovation will deliver a couple of more growth decades for a couple of stocks. Now, today I want to show you in detail why I think Virgin Galactic can go up in the short term, even not even in the long term, but in the short term, and when is for me a perfect price to buy this stock. So stay tuned and let's roll. So let's talk about Virgin Galactic. Now, the latest news as of the Q1 earnings report was that they completed the Spaceport America. This is the spaceport that they have built to shoot up astronauts into the sky and having their first people out there. Now, I did some digging because I said, who was building the spaceport? This cost billions of dollars, but it seems that they convinced New Mexico, the state, to build and lease back. And this gave me another positive note for Virgin Galactic. It's something that clever companies are able to do, okay? If you can convince the government to build for you something that you designed and where you do business with, that you lease back from them just with a promise to help the overall economy in the state, well, that's absolutely brilliant, okay? So Spaceport America is financed by the US taxpayer, and therefore I believe this is a brilliant move for a startup like Virgin Galactic. Though, the company is worth already a couple of $1 billion, still, it's a very brand new concept. Now, I said a couple of times that there is this marketing genie behind all this, which is Richard Branson. But let's talk about the very short term, absolute crazy melt up that can happen with the stock when a specific event will happen in the next couple of months. Now, we are talking about the very first flight for TV and media. Let's talk about the first flight for Virgin Galactic. It was promised that on the very first flight of Virgin Galactic to space, and with a lot of media and PR, Richard Branson will be one of those astronauts to do this flight. Now, there was some speculation, really, will he do it or not? But he is crazy enough, and to give the company a huge PR kick, he will do it, guys. Even though it's very dangerous, because obviously something can go wrong, and we have seen in the past that something went wrong for Virgin Galactic already, but definitely, if this will happen, the huge flight which was promised maybe for this year or early next year, depending now on the health crisis, how big of an impact is this for the timeline, we shall see Richard Branson in a space shuttle into space, then we definitely will see the stock gaining. And there's a couple of reasons of that. First of all, think about that there's millions of stocks out there, and sometimes it needs this one event or this news force to have the stock known by more and more investors. Okay, so not only investors are checking out there what's out there in the stock market once a company do their IPO, but still there's a lot of companies that you don't know, that me don't know, and through news like that, as more people know about it and as more people are happy to look into it, as more investors you can win. So it is always, and Tesla is doing this with a fantastic job, Elon Musk himself, to have a huge marketing machine, and that people are aware of the stocks and then are interested to buy in. And this proof of concept we have seen that works very, very well. A proof of concepts can be huge sales, launch of a new product, or a great flight into space by Virgin Galactic with the founder Richard Branson. And obviously this would be a huge event that will be broadcasted worldwide. I think they have the team to make this event very successful. For example, the CEO is the ex-chief of staff from NASA, so he knows a thing or two about events and space shuttles and how to run a space company. And also we have very smart people there, like the chairman of the board, like Shamas. If you want to know about more in these details, then check out my recent vlog that I did about Virgin Galactic, where I claim that this can be a $500 stock. And speaking about the stock price, let's dive into what I believe is a great time to buy and maybe a good price to buy. However, I think for the long term you can always buy the stock, even here now at $15, $16, $17, but I'm waiting to a specific technical level that I want to start the position and then build on that further. Let's have a look. So here we are at Virgin Galactic, the SPCE space stock here on the stock market. Here you can see the last chart of the last couple of months. Obviously we have seen here the huge gain, which we reached even almost $40 per stock. Currently the stock is somewhere between $15.62 last closing as of 15th of May, and then we have the pre-market here with 16.46. Now I said a couple of times that my love to be in the stock price or starting the position price would be somewhere around $14. But why is that? Now, as you can see in this chart, I have a couple of lines here. So first is the blue line here is the stock, obviously. Then we have the pink line, which is the 200 moving average. So this is the average movement of the stock over the last 200 days. And then we have the purple line here, which is the 50 moving average line. Okay, and if we are looking into those numbers, I think that it's always interesting here that as you might know me, I'm not that the big fan of the overall technical, right? I'm not a pure technical trader. I love to see the vision of the company, the product of the company, and once you have an information that the market doesn't have, as better for you it is. And sometimes the market needs some time to see really proof of some concepts. Now I can show you here that I'm waiting for the stock to drop somewhere below the 200 moving average range. Okay, so this pink line here, this I can remove. So this is basically the line that I'm looking in, and it gave me a little bit confidence also here when you see back in mid of March we dropped below this line and then went back up, as well as here back in April as well. You know, we dipped also a little bit here below the 200 moving average, and if this will be a trend and goes again, I will start to buy here at 14. And always, you know, if the stock goes down further, obviously I will buy everything that it goes down. So if it goes to 13, I will buy more. If it goes to 12, I'll buy more. It just will bring my average number down that I purchased the stock for. Now, obviously you have to also imagine that I think that this stock is a very long-term stock, right? This means that I believe that, you know, you never can time the perfect market to go into the stock. You know, if you're looking into the last couple of months, obviously the perfect time was here somewhere in the November levels after the IPO, when we had the price at $7. Imagine the returns that you could make here until the stock goes back to 40 levels. In my personal opinion, the stock will go far more than these levels here with time, over years to come. And therefore, you know, what makes the big difference to buy if it's 15, 16, 20, right? Imagine to buy Tesla at $20 or $50. This would be a dream. And therefore, you know, this is the whole explanation for me to buy everything below $14. I definitely start not everything by putting into all my money that I want to invest into the stock at one time. I spread it over a couple of weeks or a couple of months, just to make sure that if the stock goes further down, that I'm not that much of exposed. Now you know why I'm buying Virgin Galactic, but you know now also at which price I would like to buy Virgin Galactic. And there is thousands of other reasons that we will discuss in the future why Virgin Galactic for me is a buy on the long term. And I believe that, you know, I'm a believer of innovative companies. I believe if innovative companies can show a proof of concept, they are very much a potential of rocket fuel, right? They can go up like hell in a very short amount of time. And this is sometimes not sustainable, but it gives you a baseline and fundamental to grow further in the future. And therefore, with all of this news from today's video, I hope you can share what you think about the stock in the comments below. Also subscribe and thumb up for the video, and I see you maybe at the spaceport America.